Hello and welcome to Double G Gaming, and welcome to Dwarf Fortress. Now, some of you may be wondering what happened to my old fortress, Castlefire. Well, let's just say that it didn't work out. There were some very evil aquifers on that map, and without knowing where they were, I did walk right into them, and it ended up being less than satisfactory. Slightly flooded, and yes, well, fortunately, as I am always prepared, I was able to have a pristine backup copy of my world, so I can always restart if I have any difficulties. So we have prepared that. Now, here's the world map. There's a lot of information you can get from this map, and you can see like there's towers and all sorts of other. Well, normally when you have towers, that's the evil region, so you have monasteries and human castles to fight them. There's always interacting forces and different civilizations get their locations in different places. It can be fascinating to read through in Legends, but we are here to look for a location for our dwarf fortress. Now we could use like the find embark location function. It's very handy if you want to look for the different sizes or savagery or other options for your embark. It doesn't have magma though, which is something which is disappointing because you used to be able to search for magma being in the first cavern layer, which is can be nice if you don't want to. If you want to increase the number of embark points. I do hate dealing with magma deep down under the seas, under the surface, so I do prefer to embark on volcanoes. So generally when I have a new map, I do check out all the volcanoes and see if there's any nice ones which can be used to embark on. Like some are pretty isolated and not near anything interesting. Some are totally isolated and you can't embark there because they're only mountains, and you can't embark on just mountains. You have to have some other sort of tile, like any other sort of tile really, but just mountains you can't embark on. But this site does have some interesting spots though. This one here has the start of a stream. You can fit all this into a 4x4 embark, which does limit lag. You get the volcano in there, which is the monstrous cinder. Nice name. But no, I've already scouted this map, and I'm going to try again on this location. It looks like it's taken up by the gravel portents, but actually, if you go in closer, you can see that the volcano is actually free, so we can embark on there. First up, we do need to choose a civilization. Now, civilization affects what sort of animals and items you have available to you embark, and can affect some of the migrants and some of the immigrants that you can get. There are also other minor differences between the factions, but mainly from this screen, all you can get from there is the size and the number of sites. We're going to choose the factional towers because they have a particular item that I really would kind of like. We'll get into that later, but you can get different stuff from all of them. But we'll go to our embark now and get the 4x4 square. It does have the 3 squares of temperate freshwater swamp to the left, and this does have an aquifer on it. But the volcano, this is called Stern Torch. It's an interesting name, but it's going to form part of our embark. We're going to use it to get our magma nice and early, so we can have some fun with that. And the temperate freshwater swamp tiles here, they're the ones with the evil aquifer in it, but it does have plenty of iron, gold, and a flux-stone layer as well, which is also very important for making steel. We've got all of our neighbours close by. We're pretty much set up. Now, I will just give you a quick look at some of the towers that do surround our nice fortress. We have like many towers up to the north, the west, and the south. Some of them are perhaps a bit too far away, but there's a lot of towers there, and each of them is home to a necromancer, and they all perhaps do experiments that twist creatures into dark forms, or they raise the undead, or there's many sorts of varied things that they can do. But we also have the standard goblins to the east as well, so we're not going to be short of things to have fun with. Now I am going to show you here the notes that I took for this embark. Hopefully they'll just give you an idea of what is around in my area, and hopefully also show you the really poor level of my note-taking skills. Moving on to setup. I always like to have one dwarf to rule them all. One dwarf who I like to have to be promoted eventually to the heady heights of the Baron of this fine land that he's brought all these dwarfs to. This guy I like to choose, he has to have a high level of empathy. That's very important, because he's going to be the one that high social awareness and high empathy, because all the other dwarves will come to him to cry on his shoulder to feel better. Now I'm also going to make him the broker as well, so for his skills I like to give him Judge of Intent, Leader to make sure he is the leader, Appraiser, and it gives him Swimmer and Dodger just to keep him safe, and then he has to have all the talking skills such as Pacifier, Counselor, how do you pronounce that? Negotiator, Persuader. I also have to have a doctor who's got to be a diagnostician is his main thing, but he's also the manager, so he has organizer and record keeper as well. Generally give him Dodger as well, just keep him safe, but his main skill will be diagnosticianing. He's going to be the doctor. It's good to have a high analytical sense for him, and some empathy is good. Also, we'd like to find a good outdoors dwarf, which is hard to find, true, but give him like a 3 woodcutter and 3 herbalist, some swimmer and dodger because he's going to get into trouble often, and he can be the tanner and our animal trainer as well. We're going to choose a planter. We're just choosing anyone now pretty much. Planters, 5 planter and 5 brewer, because he can brew the booze as well. We also get a 1 miner. He's going to get 5 mining and 3 mechanic, as well as swimmer and dodger. He's not going to be the only miner, because we will set the boss and the doctor to mine during the beginning. We also need a carpenter to do our carpentry. Like he will get 5 carpenter and 5 woodcrafter. And finally, the creme de la creme is the cook. He gets 5 times cook, animal caretaker, and 2 times butcher, so he can take care of the animals and kill them. He also gets bone carver, so he can carve something out of their bones, and a bit of dodger just to keep them safe, because he is going to be quite important, because cooking is going to be one of our mainstay for our exports, and it does provide a lot of quality ingredients, or quality trade goods, if you do have an excellent cook, which we're going to have. He's going to do all the cooking, and he's going to make us lots of money. I will put here again a picture of the notes that I'm working with for this embark, so you can judge my level of incompetence. And it's all about managing expectations at this point. And now moving on to the reason why we chose the factional towers as our embark civilization. Elephants. We all love elephants, and having a breeding pair of elephants, while expensive, is a nice start to a fortress. They'll be good for protection, and if they breed fast enough we could get a whole herd of them. That would be nice. We also need to cut a few of the more expensive things from our embark choices, but we can replace them with cheaper alternatives, and we can spread out the cost to give ourselves a lot more varied stuff to give us extra barrels and such like we are ordering as much milk as we can bring, dwarven milk as well. I'm not quite sure where that comes from, but yes, we shall be making cheese out of that as soon as we arrive, and all this stuff will be useful for us for extra barrels and such like that. That's why we're ordering just a few things of each different type of animal, and that should enable us to have a nice start to our fortress. Moving on to the name of our fortress, you could click random a few times just to see what you get, or you could just type into the search option there and choose what you want, which is Murdertorch. Okay, name it after the volcano near us. Also going to go for the group name, which again you could try randomizing. But easy just to choose and just go something cool. The First Fires. That's catchy. Uthar Ziril. but you also get to choose the group symbol, the symbol for the government of your region. And this, we're going to go for an image of a mountain and dwarfs. The dwarfs are admiring the mountain is burning. Nice simple image. Maybe I'll try and do an artbook of it at some point. We can also name the image the fires of volcanoes. Nice and simple. Alright, and welcome to the game. A dwarven outpost, we have arrived. Our wagon is broken. The wilderness is at an end. Let's dig some lodgings before the dingoes get hungry, because it does always give you some warning about what the local wildlife is on that line. So around here we have dingoes to worry about, which aren't too much to worry about. So let's go and build a sun-attached Murdertorch. Strike the earth. Now, one of the first things that you always want to do whenever you embark on a new embark is to check the U menu to make sure that there's no other creatures around that might eat you or your dwarfs. So always check that and have a look for anything there that might be a problem. As we don't have anything there, we can move on to just appointing some nobles and administrators. We did have these already planned out. We've got the expedition leader going to be most of the positions, but we are going to appoint our doctor to the manager position, and the doctor position as well, obviously. Also, we want to enable the mining labour for both our manager and our expedition leader, so they will also pick up a pick and mine. They won't be any good at it, but they will still do it. So they'll pick up skill, and eventually, once we get more people, we will get them off that, because it is a bit dangerous sometimes. For the moment, we also create a quick carpentry custom labour, because we did bring a specialist carpenter, so we want him to just do the carpentry. So we want him to carve some good carpentry stuff, some good stuff that I would, and that will be just for our proficient carpenter. Oh, I need to give them all nicknames as well. I'll do that between streams. Okay, so what else? Oh yes, don't forget. Make sure you don't cook your plump helmets, because if you cook them, you'll lose the seeds. So let's make it illegal for them to be cooked, and that should enable make sure we don't lose all of them. Right, next thing, so let's set up some workshops, I think. Yeah, we'll get because we don't want the pack animals. We've got a camel there, and there's something else somewhere. The elephants we wanted, but there is a yak bull and a camel that we do want to butcher at some point. So we're going to build some specialist infrastructure to deal with them, which means we're going to need a butcher's, a tanner's, and a kitchen as well to cook the fat, and also a farmer's workshop to spin the hair. But I did bring a few blocks with me just to get some colour coordination going. So we're going to put those down. Yeah, we'll get the farmer's workshop once we have some more blocks, but we'll put down a fishery one, because I always forget to do that, so might as well do it now. And we've got the blue block. I do like microcline because it's the one blue thing. We'll mark some trees down for cutting, so our woodcutter will grab his axe and come and do some chopping of these trees. We'll do pretty much mostly willow, because I like to keep it to one type if possible, and willow is one of the lightest woods you can get. The only lighter one is one you can get in a good biome, a featherlight or something, feather tree. But yeah, willow, apart from a feather tree, willow is the lightest wood that you can find. So we'll mark some of those for cutting, and we want a stockpile to bring the wood back to. This is going to be just for wood. We should also set up a zone, because we did bring all those dogs and those elephants, and they want to be trained. So we've got an animal training zone, so that they can be trained up into war elephants. And on that subject, we will mark them on this menu to be trained as war animals, the elephants included. So they'll just be tougher going forward. We'll mark these guys for butchering later once we have the things built and we are not quite so busy. Also going to want a pasture for the dogs and the elephants to make sure they don't run off all over the map. So we'll stick them in this pasture here. The cats can go wherever they want. Maybe I'll lock one of them up over my food stockpile later to hunt vermin, but for the moment they can go anywhere. Okay, what else do we need? Let's have a think about where to put the stairwell. Yes, we need to sink a stairwell somewhere. This is very important for a low FPS base. You want to make sure that most of your structures are built off the stairwell, so do a main one and do it down to as deep as you can. Hopefully, well, we'll mark that down, and then we want to erase the middle bit, because I like to, eventually I have a waterfall going down the middle tile, and that will keep all the dwarves happy, and that will be the main center point of our fortress. But in order to make sure that that is situated properly, you need to make sure that the stone underneath is, you know, the right stone, and there's no aquifers as well. I do know there is an aquifer on this map, on this side of the map in fact, and last time when I played this map I did fall foul of it, but this time I did bring a few more tools with me to help me with that. So we're going to go to DF launcher up in the corner here. This is my DFHack which I've got installed. It is a very handy resource, and we're going to click on the launcher and we're going to type in reveal, because last time when I did this map I didn't know where the aquifers were and I ran afoul of them, and they were a lot worse than I thought. So we're going to type reveal, and that will reveal the map. It won't reveal any tiles that are not exposed or next to an open space, so you don't get a full view. In order to go for that, we will have to change the viewpoint, but we'll get into that later. For the moment, this is good enough, because it will allow us to see, if you open the mining menu, the M, it will allow us to see the aquifer and exactly where it is. See, there it was over there. There's a tiny little aquifer, but next level down it goes even, yeah, it's a horrible, horrible aquifer, and it then goes all the way out. Fortunately, I seem to have missed it with my stairway. It seems to be perfectly placed, so we will keep that stairwell, I think. Yes, it looks good. But yeah, it comes back again, and it's a terrible, terrible aquifer. It's two separate aquifers, I think, both sandstone and conglomerate. But we can get a nice view of the caverns down here. There's a well, we can have water in this first cavern layer, so if we didn't have water up above, we could use this one, or the aquifer would be very slow. Right, let's go a bit down further, shall we? Right, yeah, this second cavern layer we have. Seems to be very low down. All the way to the magma sea. I'm sure there must be a third cavern layer there somewhere, but yeah, this is the magma sea, and these little bits here that are blotted out, you have trouble seeing them on this view. Let's switch to ASCI graphics. You're gonna have to excuse the eyes. Okay, this is ASCI graphics. It renders every square, so it doesn't just render the squares that are open to the open space. And these blocked out bits here are where you have spires of adamantium. And because it's blocked out so that you don't get an accidental view of the circus inside, because if you see the circus, the clowns get angry and then they come out to play. But using this view, you can see that you get quite a you can get a good view of the sort of stone that you have on your embark. I have some microcline here. It's a nice blue stone. I will be looking for that. But yeah, using this graphic set is difficult in the eyes, and it can be hard to read, but it does just allow you to get an idea of what sort of stones you have in your embark. Like we've got some nice cobaltite and yeah, more magaclone. I'm not sure where the third Cavalier was. Maybe there might be one squeezed in there, but let's look at the surface and let's change back to the normal graphics. That's a bit better. Okay. Yeah, never forget to unreveal your map after you've revealed it, or else you will have problems. Moving on to some of the other joys that DFHack can bring you, there are there's many resources that DFHack can bring to bear to help you with FPS and also to give you a better view of your fortress. One of my other favourites is Stone Sense. This one gives you a 3D view of your fortress. Obviously it looks a bit better once you've built your actual fortress, but I'm going to showcase it here. Type in Stone Sense to there, and it loads up this new window. There we go, and you get a nice little view of your embark, and you can see there's the river. You get little dogs there with wagging tails. That's super cute. But yeah, it's a little bit difficult to control, but you can get a bit of a view of the volcano at the moment. You can see how it's quite tall, and the magma doesn't go all the way to the top. And you can see some of the trees here. But yeah, that is Stone Sense. So obviously it looks a lot better if you have a big fortress that you can explore through the Z levels with it. But that's one of the other resources that DFHack can bring. Alright, let's move on to something else. Right, well, let's probably move on with this game before I get distracted and start doing too much without recording. I'm going to set up a few more labours, I think. Let's get something for our animal trainer. So our woodsy guy is going to be our only trainer. We'll name that. Okay, so he's going to be our total. So hopefully, once he's trained the animals, they'll like to hang out near him and follow him around. So he'll be a bit safer when he goes out hunting down trees. We're going to get our herbalist doing the herbaling, and our planter doing the planting. And everything else I think is pretty much set up. What else we got to do? We'll let someone fish. That'll be fine. We've got the fisher plates. We might as well use it once the thaw comes and everything melts. Let's just go to the kitchen and make sure that our drinks aren't being cooked either, because they need to be drunk, not cooked. And we're going to take care of the milk once we've got a few trees to make a farmer's workshop and turn that milk into cheese. We've got loads of milk in our barrels, and that will also free up a bunch of barrels for us because we can stack the cheese in there. So this is just a way to get extra barrels, but we should probably move on to let's set up our initial dig. I have done some planning down here, but that's going to be our first place for us to dig down and store our stuff. We also should set up a refuse stockpile, because you don't want that building up down there. So build that out the way behind there. And we need a corpse one as well, so put that a bit further back. I should probably do something special with the corpses, because that was a problem last time. We'll get our corpse disposal sorted properly this time around. Right, is there anything else? I always think it's something I'm forgetting. No, I think it's time to unpause. We've got they're going to be trained up. I think we've got the training zone somewhere under here, and that should be fine for training the elephants and the dogs. So yeah, that'll be fine. As soon as the sun paused, they should get to training and cutting and everything. Right, maybe see, they're already off. They're building the workshops. We're not going to use them just yet, but we will soon. Once they haven't got quite as much to do, we will butcher those animals that came with us. Not the elephants, just the other ones. We're keeping the elephants. We're going to have a lot of we're going to have a herd of elephants protecting us. War elephants, no less. So we've got our wood stockpile. Haven't quite started chopping down trees yet, but they're digging out our first stockpile for all our stuff. I think because I set the woodcutter to be the only trainer, he's training all the animals before he goes to cut wood. Okay, no worries. Okay, well, he's almost got them done. I'm sure he'll get them done soon. Yeah, can't even drag him away from that with that. Yeah, when you prioritize something as priority 1, often it can make people run and do it if they're not doing something. Because the priority 1 assignment is a very high priority. Alright, let's set some people up to gather stuff. Keep them busy. Or I would keep them busy if they were actually set together. Yeah, the same guy is set to. Yeah, let's everybody have a gathering so they can all be busy, gather some stuff. Maybe we should set them in mine specific. Well, we'll let them. I think I drew some miners out of the depths there, so they've stopped mining and they've started gathering herbs. Let's bring them down with some priority 1 mining. There we go. That should speed up. We should probably set our stockpile down here now so we can start transferring the goods from our wagon down to here. Everything seems cool up here. Yeah. Okay. Let's just put a big stockpile, make it for everything. And then we customize it to exclude refuse and corpses. Oops, wrong button. Refuse and corpses. And stone, we don't want any of that. And we don't want wood either, because we're getting that elsewhere. So this is just give stuff from off our wagon and bring it down here. Let's go up and check, shall we? I started bringing stuff down already. Haven't started cutting trees yet. Okay, how many? Probably have all of our animals trained so far. Yeah, still training. Okay, hopefully we'll be done soon, and then we'll chop some trees and we'll make the farmer's workshop, and then we'll butcher some animals. Right, well, I think those are all the steps that you really need to do to set up a fortress. Like, pretty much once all that stuff is underground, we can start. Everything's stored. Well, pretty much once everything's underground, we can move on with the plans that I've laid out and see how much of that I can dig out. We've at least got some trees now, so let's set up a farmer's workshop and some other bits. We want a carpenter's as well, because that will be that's important for us. We're going to be working the trees before those elves get involved and start asking us to not chop down trees. I suppose I could have used some of the stone, but no matter. So let's put the carpenters, stick it there. I think that's pretty much everything we need, for the moment at least. We'll work on that once we've got the we'll work on this still once we've got the fields going. Because at the moment we are not even growing any crops. Right, let's pretty much all set up. Let's have a check down into the basement to see how they're getting on. Oh, let's expand this. Plenty of room for everything. Yeah, it's just a case of moving the stuff off. We only have 7 dwarfs, so things may take a while. So let's not let them be too busy, and let's get this bit chopped down. Well, this workload finished. Do a bit more gathering up there, just to keep those dwarfs busy. Trying to do it at level 1, let's do it at level 4, better. Alright, well, they're going to gather us a bunch of stuff when they're not busy. And move the stuff down into the basement, and then once we've done that, we will work on getting the top secure with a bridge probably, and we'll work on getting some mechanic stuff and moving all of our stuff underground, but that will probably wait for next time. Right, well, I hope you enjoyed joining me today in Murdertorch. Please leave any ideas or suggestions in the comments below. I would love to read them. Thank you for joining me, and hope you join me next time.